Here in this video we will do a ranking as far as we know the 10 greatest plague champions and servants of Nurgle from the Death God and their subsequent warbands. Remember that the Death God were a legion of the Emperor during the Great Crusade and turned to Nurgle's worship during and after the Horus heresy. As such, the Space Marines are now known as Plague Marines, and their blessings from the god of rot and death and decay come in many forms, different disgusting forms, be it blisters, cancers, tentacles, diseases of all kinds, as well as swarm of flies and a miasma of deathly clouds around them. So with that said, let's get to discussing the 10 most powerful of these putrid warriors of Grandpa Nurgle. At number 10 we have Biologist Putrifier Slurt. This guy belongs to the warband that sprung out from the Death God, which is called the Lords of Silence. Slurt's twisted experiments are as grotesque and macabre as the very nature of chaos itself. His insatiable curiosity and sadistic pleasure in pushing the boundaries of life and death makes his laboratory a nightmarish spectacle. He has created new plagues that can mutate and adapt, rendering traditional cures or any kind of preventive measures useless. Some of his experiments involve combining different diseases to create even deadlier strains. Slurt also conducts experiments to twist and warp the bodies of his unfortunate subjects. He grafts extra limbs, eyes and other appendages onto creatures, creating nightmarish multi-limb monstrosities and abominations. He does most of his work on plague ogrins, and he works all these under the command of his leader called Vos. But he isn't really trusted by any of his fellow Chaos brethren from the Lords of Silence, and he even sabotages the plans of the Death God on occasions. At number 9 we have Mortarion, the Plague Champion. Mortarion is a malevolent and powerful champion devoted to Nurgle, which means he is extremely hard to defeat and wound. He commands a dreaded plague fleet that traverses the outer edges of the screaming vortex within the Calixis sector. His disgusting fellow warriors, hailing from diseased and decaying vessels, regularly unleash havoc upon those Imperial ships and crews which are unfortunate enough to encounter them. Mortarion in battle wields a colossal mace that is surprisingly crafted from the bones of his predecessor in the warband. It is infused with repulsive warp energies, and with it he leads reanimated corpses of former Space Marines into battle. Following different conflicts, his undead minions fill the plague holes of his ships with the countless dead. This is a grim process that serves as a means to recruit formidable warriors by testing their resolve. It is believed that Mortarion does want to work with others at least, and often extends invitations to others to join his warband and to willingly submit themselves to Nurgle. Number 8. Captain Gack. A formidable captain with the Lords of Silence, a Death God warband. He commands a select group of Terminator armor plagued Marines called the Cardane. Originating from an Imperial hive world, he was taken as an aspirant by the Death God some 2 millennia after the Horus heresy, a fact that breeds a deep-seated insecurity within him, especially when confronted by those born from the Death God's homeworld Barbarus. Taunted and challenged by his fellow legionnaires for not enduring the hardships of Barbarus or participating in the Battle of Terra in the Horus heresy, Gack is consumed by a relentless hunger for power. His insatiable ambition fuels open rivalry with the Chaos Lord Vos, the current leader of the warband, who keenly recognizes Gack's power-hunger nature and the constant threat he poses to the established order. As the commander of the Blight Lord Terminators, Gack's strategic acumen and combat prowess makes him a formidable force, but it is his unquenchable thirst for supremacy that defines him. Number 7. Repugnus, champion of Nurgle. Sorry, honest mistake. He is a formidable Death God champion who played a significant role in the invasion of the Imperium world called Corvin II under the command of a Chaos Lord called Feltius, following the creation of the Great Rift. His origins can be traced back to the creation of the Death God itself, and he emerged as a key figure during the assault on the Honor of Ultramar, an ultramarine strike cruiser which was responding to the distress call from the planet of Corvin II. Repugnus, accompanied by his followers Gruul and Bubox, was tasked with securing the skull of an ultramarine's hero, a revered relic for the chapter. Engaging in fierce combat with the intercessors led by Sergeant Decius, Repugnus ultimately failed in his mission, as the ultramarines successfully repelled the Death God from the Honor of Ultramar. Despite this setback, Repugnus continued to demonstrate his resilience and loyalty, defending a malignant plague caster in the subsequent battles in Corvin II, particularly defending the world during the attempt to open a warp portal. Number 6. Siege Master Vos. Vos, a formidable Chaos Lord and the Siege Master of the Death God Traitor Legion, stands as the commanding force behind the potent warband known as the Lords of Silence. Originating from Barbarus, Vos was among the first aspirants chosen to join the Death God Legion under Primarch Mortarion's command during the Great Crusade. Rising through the Legion's ranks, he earned the title of Siege Master, showcasing his prowess in commanding the Death God fleets. Loyalty to Mortarion led Vos willingly to render his service to Chaos during the Horus heresy, and he later founded the Lords of Silence within the Eye of Terror. He was a key architect of the conquest of Sabatine, and Vos transformed the Imperial world into a demonic world dedicated to Nurgle. His role in defeating the White Council Space Marine chapter and personally slaying their chapter master, Cymar Zydeus, exemplifies his martial prowess as well. His powers lies in his leadership, expertise in siege warfare, and a mastery over the dark arts of Nurgle, making him a very powerful force. Number 5. Solen Desas, the Lord of Flies. Solen Desas, once a loyal member of the Death God's 7th Great Company, under the battle captain called Nathaniel Garrow, met a gruesome fate following the chaos of the Isvan V campaign and a subsequent flight or retreat aboard the frigate called Einstein. Grieving from injuries sustained in battle, he was unable to find respite from the supernatural disease called the Nurgle's Rot. Desas succumbed to the Lord of Decay's allure, willingly surrendering his pain-ridden body to Nurgle's embrace. Transformed into a demonic entity called the Lord of Flies, Desas' once mortal form mutated into a grotesque amalgamation with an arachnid-like head, skeletal appendages, and a miasma of death. His demonic existence culminated in a harrowing assault on Terra during the Siege of Terra, where he assumed a swarm of plague flies, infecting and transforming the populace into zombie-like creatures. Despite being banished by Garrow once before, the Lord of Flies continued to haunt the loyalist captain, using the voice of his former persona Solen Desas to torment the captain and reaffirm its intent to be the harbinger of his demise. Number 4. The Blight Master called Usax. Usax was born from the twisted gene seed of the Death God Legion. Usax's latent psychic abilities manifested early, drawing the attention of the sorcerer's mentors within the Legion. Over the millennia, Usax honed his skills in making virulent blights, afflictions, and plagues, earning him a reputation as one of the most darkly gifted members of the Death God. His alliance with the Plague God granted him access to forbidden knowledge, allowing him to refine his malevolent creations to unprecedented levels of potency. The title of Blight Master was not bestowed lightly. Usax earned it through his mastery over the art of plaguecraft. His concoctions have caused countless deaths, and his presence on the battlefield strikes fear into the hearts of both mortal and Astartes alike. Usax's power extends beyond the mere biological warfare that he conducts. He also wields formidable psychic abilities, weaving the energies of the warp to further amplify the devastation of the plagues he unleashes upon his foes. Number 3. Necrosius, the Hand of Nurgle. Necrosius, also known as the Undying, a malevolent Chaos Space Marine sorcerer and Death God Lord, stands as a formidable servant of Nurgle, earning the moniker, or the nickname, the Hand of Nurgle. Renowned for his mastery over the dark arts of necromancy, Necrosius commands the warband known as the Apostles of Contagion, spreading the unholy zombie plague of the Plague Lord across war zones. Originally an apothecary during the Great Crusade, Necrosius turned to the service of Chaos when the Death God succumbed to the corruption of Nurgle during the Horus heresy. His powers extend beyond the boundaries of moral understanding, allowing him to awaken the dead to a nightmarish half-life and unleashing virulent plagues upon both friend and enemies alike. Nurgle has transformed Necrosius into a grotesque figure with a bloated figure and necrotic mutations covering his body. The title, The Undying, is well earned as he repeatedly returns from near-fatal encounters. Armed with a modified force weapon and a bolt pistol adapted to fire the plague bolts, he is accompanied by Nurglings, which are impish lesser demons of Nurgle. Necrosius is attended by these vile creatures that enhance his formidable abilities as well as authority, as the Nurglings are the glorification of Nurgle himself. Number 2. Typhon, the Traveler. Formerly known as Typhon, he is a powerful plague marine and the herald of Nurgle, embodying the plague god's foul blessings. Typhon fell to the corrupting influence of Chaos during the Horus heresy, before even Mortarion or the other death gods, becoming a devoted servant of Nurgle. Now known as Typhon the Traveler, he wields immense power and serves as the harbinger of pestilence within the forces of Chaos. Typhon is in command of the Chaos battleship called Terminus Est, a vessel that has been warped and tainted by the powers of Chaos and Nurgle over the course of the past 10,000 years. He commands the host of the Destroyer Hive, which is a swarm of corrupted insects and demonic creatures that spread disease and death wherever it descends. Typhon is also a formidable melee combatant, wielding a massive scythe known as the Man Reaper. This demonic weapon is infused with the essence of Nurgle and can reap through armor and flesh with ease. Although he is less powerful than Mortarion physically, he still has Nurgle's blessing and favoritism, which has caused Mortarion to burn with intense jealousy because he cannot do anything about it. Otherwise, the Primarch will fall out of Nurgle's favor, and Typhon also knows this, so he flaunts it like a diseased crown. And number 1, the Demon Primarch, Mortarion. Currently, Mortarion stands as the preeminent demon prince devoted to Nurgle and serves as the Demon Primarch, leading the Death God Chaos Space Marines. Mortarion's descent into chaos and allegiance to Nurgle unfolded gradually during the Horus heresy, initially harboring resentment towards the Emperor of Mankind for perceived tyranny over Terra, and because the Emperor saved him by killing his overlord adoptive father, which is kinda like confusing. Anyway, Mortarion's disdain deepened upon learning the Emperor's use of psychic abilities, even though he later adopted the psychic abilities under Nurgle, which was kinda hypocritical. He followed the War Master Horus during the heresy, but his full turn into being a plaything of Nurgle is due to the actions of callous Typhon, who led the Death God into the Eye of Terror, where they were subjected to the Destroyer Plague and Nurgle's wrath, turning them all into plagued mutant marines. Mortarion suffered the most, and in the endless torment gave himself to Nurgle, to which he was raised up as a demon prince, and with this surrender to the Chaos God Nurgle, the Death Lord was at last worthy of his title. He now sprouts wings and has a changed appearance. He has the most power amongst all of Nurgle's servants by sheer strength, but lacks in one aspect, not being the favorite of Nurgle, the position which is given to Typhon due to the Marines' openness and all-out acceptance of Nurgle's plans. So those are the 10 greatest Plague champions and servants of Nurgle. So if you like this video, then check this other one as well, and if you want to browse for other content, Warhammer content, then check out our channel. Subscribe, like for support, and yeah, bang on the bell icon for notifications on new video uploads. Till the next time, take care, boys.